Good afternoon. It is a pleasure and a privilege to be here today. My name is Isabelle and I am issuing the statement in support and acclaim of Greater Boston Legal Services, a nonprofit legal services agency whose assistance on my behalf over the past year has been absolutely life-saving. GBLS's mission, efforts, and work in support of disadvantaged populations and individuals here in the Boston area are beyond invaluable in keeping the city's vulnerable populations from ending up in dire and potentially catastrophic personal and legal situations. GBLS is a life-saving organization staffed by some of the most dedicated, brilliant, and unstoppable attorneys anywhere. It is therefore critical and imperative that this agency continues to receive the funding that it needs to go on providing the critical services that it provides. I would know. Exactly 1 year ago this month, I was one of those individuals who was financially destitute and facing homelessness. I am legally blind, and due in part to this severe visual disability, as well as due to the loss of income brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, I had gone through my entire life savings and was facing eviction from the landlord in whose building I had lived for the last 9 years and had always paid rent out of pocket dutifully and on time. I have a bachelor's degree in biology. I went to Framingham State University and studied pre-med. I then got a job after graduation at Harvard Medical School doing lab science in the laboratory of a pioneering researcher in cancer research. I then moved on to the biotechnology and pharmaceutical industry and continued to do scientific research for them, specializing in preclinical drug development. During this time, I also went to grad school, focusing on a PhD in clinical psychology at Suffolk University, and was working at 3 and 4 jobs the entire time. I've been a member of the Boston workforce for 25 years, and throughout those 25 years, I've always done my best to contribute to society, to volunteer for organizations, to lead a healthy and holistic lifestyle, to be socially active in the city, to donate to charities, and generally to ensure not just my own financial survival and future, but to help those around me as well. So I'm not sure how I ended up homeless and financially destitute, aside from the fact that I am legally blind and my bad eyesight prevented me from being able to effectively navigate the application systems for government benefits and agencies that should have been much more functional in providing access to all types of applicants, regardless of disability or age or societal status. I found myself going through my entire life savings just to pay for basic living expenses, because the unemployment assistance that I had applied for in October of 2020 took over 9 months to be paid out. And who has 9 months worth of life savings lying around? I certainly didn't. And so 5 months into waiting for these benefits to be released, my landlord decided to start an eviction process against me, even though they knew that I had applied for rental assistance and was waiting for that application to be processed. But again, because I was visually disabled and unable to navigate websites, application websites, the application that I had put in for rental assistance in December of 2020 was not paid out until May of 2021, which is 5 months. So this is where GBLS comes in, because I was in a horrible, I was facing disaster, basically. My landlord had given me a 14-day notice to quit in February of 2021, so a year ago, and I didn't know what to do or where to go or who to turn to. Most people do not have the thousands of dollars lying around in order to begin to secure legal assistance, because when you go to a law firm, they ask you to pay a retainer, and it's usually a couple $1,000s. What do you do when you're in that kind of catastrophic situation and you don't have a penny to your name? So this is where Kristen Hardwick comes in, and let me tell you a little bit about Kristen. I have a statement prepared about her, because I want to make sure that everything that she does is recognized and mentioned here. So Kristen Hardwick, in March of 2021, fearlessly took on my complicated and very dicey housing situation when, as I mentioned, through no fault of my own, I was facing eviction and homelessness from an overzealous and trigger-happy landlord who had proceeded with the eviction of my 9-year tenancy while in the midst of an eviction moratorium and of a global pandemic. Kristen took this on anyway. She was brave and fearless, and thanks to her swift and tireless intervention, my tenancy was saved, and the court hearing for the eviction was canceled, even though it had already been scheduled and was on the books. As I write this, Kristen Hardwick continues to work on my behalf in obtaining and renewing rental funding, something that I would not be able to do on my own, because again, I can't see anything. Everything is a struggle when you literally can't see. In May of 2021, Kristen very kindly and generously referred me to Hannah Tanabe, who is also a staff attorney here at GBLS. Hannah specializes in intervention and advocacy on the part of clients who are facing the kinds of challenges that I was facing with the Department of Unemployment, and who are struggling to obtain the benefits that they are rightfully owed. Hannah is a hero, and she immediately tackled an incredibly tough and tangled mess left by the dysfunction and ineffective infrastructure at the Massachusetts Department of Unemployment Assistance. Over the last 10 months, Hannah has navigated an arduous process in retrieving funds that have been owed to me by DUA. This has taken nearly a year to resolve, and Hannah's continuous intervention and ongoing assistance has been nothing less than heroic. She is an absolute superstar, and I cannot say enough wonderful things about her. My living situation and livelihood were both rescued by the tireless advocacy and dedicated hard work of Kristen Hardwick and Hannah Tanabe, these two talented and amazing attorneys whose efforts on my behalf and on behalf of disabled and disadvantaged clients is beyond invaluable, not just to the clients and to their families, but to the overall community and to our society and nation. Legal services and representation are currently a luxury that very few people in today's pandemic weakened economy can afford. As I mentioned, most people don't have the few $1,000s necessary to pay in retainer fees just lying around. I certainly didn't, and this is where organizations and agencies such as GBLS are absolutely critical for the survival of society's most vulnerable. In spite of all of my efforts over the last 30 years in investing in education and career, I had unwittingly become one of society's most vulnerable. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who is in this situation in spite of their best efforts and in spite of all of the years of work that they've put into contributing to society. There are not enough words to describe the infinite gratitude that I have for this phenomenal organization and the life-saving and utterly transformative role that they have anywhere. I only wish that I had the financial means right now to donate funds to GBLS and to its staff that has done so much to help me over the last year. What I do have is a story of my experience with GBLS that can hopefully speak even louder as to the incredible necessity for continuing to fund this organization, its amazing staff attorneys, and the invaluable work that they do. Thank you, Kristen and Hannah, for your tireless work and for everything that you do to help society, to help people such as myself, and the miracles that you perform every day to those who otherwise would have little hope and recourse in the face of daunting challenges and imminent disaster. I cannot thank you enough again.